I'm Akshata Chaudhary. I welcome you all on behalf of ML from VW IT. So we planned some amazing sessions and projects for this computer vision session series. Let me share my screen first. Okay. I guess is it visible now? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So by the end of this session, you will be learning some amazing stuff of computer vision. And as you all know, computer vision is the hottest field, and OpenCV is the fundamental important step for starting with computer vision. So today you will be learning about like what is computer vision, then what all is involved in computer vision, then some important functions like from OpenCV library, and also some use cases of computer vision using OpenCV. So in that, you will be learning about face detection, eye detection, then some other use cases like pedestrian or car or any object detection. So before starting the session, I would like to tell you all, if you will have face any difficulty or any doubt during the session, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I will try to resolve your queries. Okay, so let's dive into it. So first of all, computer vision. So what is computer vision? So it is oftenly abbreviated as CV. So here CV stands for computer vision. It is defined as a field of study that seeks to develop techniques to help computers see and understand the content of digital images such as photographs and videos. So basically, we can say that in short, computer vision deals with images and videos. So we can do some stuff like image processing and video editing with the help of computer vision. So what is the goal of it? The goal of CV problems is to use the observed image data or the video data to infer something about the world. That means we have to just load an image or load an video and some doing processing on it and finally conclude something by that data. Okay. So this diagram explains the relationship of computer vision with artificial intelligence and machine learning. So computer vision is the hottest subfield of AI and machine learning. Here I listed down some CV applications. So this is for those students, who are new to the term CV and who have just heard about it but don't know the applications or what is CV in real sense. So for them, I listed down some basic applications. So here you can see like pose estimation using computer vision, then some social distancing tools developing by computer vision. Like for example, if people are walking, then just estimating their moves and their distances from each other. So we can do that very easily by using computer vision techniques. Then medical image analysis is there, then navigation is there. For example, autonomous vehicle, robot, then image classification, then object detection that we are going to see in today's session. Then image colorization is there. That means we can convert a colored image into black and white image. Similarly, black and white image into colored image. So it is considered in the image colorization. And black and white image is also known as the gray image. Okay, so coming to directly OpenCV library. So first of all, it stands for open means open source and computer vision. So OpenCV library is open source computer vision library. It includes several hundreds of computer vision algorithms that we are going to see in today's session. So here you can find the OpenCV documentation, or like if you want a detailed information about OpenCV or like what all modules are included in it, then you can go to this link, or if you just Google search OpenCV documentation, then you can get this link at the first place. Okay. So now let's get our hands dirty with OpenCV. I hope you all are excited for learning amazing stuff using OpenCV for today's session. So, okay, just start about the coding. So I'm going to use Jupyter Notebook for it because in the Jupyter Notebook you can see images very clearly, and we are going to do processing with images, videos as well as the webcam also. So it is better to use Jupyter Notebook. So that's why I'm using it, but you can use any other Python editor or Anaconda editor or Colab also. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, talking about installation process. Okay, so if you have Anaconda environment, just go to the Google and type it down, OpenCV3 install Conda. Okay, I will type it down, OpenCV3 install Conda, and you will get the first link. Okay, just copy this command. Here you can see, just copy this command, open the Anaconda prompt and paste it there. Okay, it will hardly take 5 to 10 minutes to install. And if you want to install it by using pip, you can do it. Just type on the Google OpenCV Python pip, Python module. So you can see here the command using pip. So you just copy this command and paste it in the Anaconda prompt. You have to follow the same procedure. Okay, so you can install it by using pip. So you can install OpenCV by any of these two ways. Okay, the choice is yours. You can install it by any of these two ways. And I'm going to provide you the drive link where I will mention all these installation links also. So don't worry about it at all. Okay, so let's start. So the part one is read and display images. Okay. So here in the part one, we are going to read and display images using OpenCV library. Okay. So in OpenCV, I already installed OpenCV in my Anaconda. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to directly import it by using the command import CV2. So I will just type it down, import CV2, and I will run this. So on running this cell, if it won't give you any error, that means you installed OpenCV properly. Okay. And now in OpenCV, in order to read an image, we have a function that is IMRead. So here, I can take the variable name as image. You can take any other name, okay, for variable. So here I'm taking as image. Then I'm using the function IMRead. So cv2.imread. And then here I can provide the path for image which I want to load in my folder. Okay. So I want to load an image which is present in image examples folder, and that is img.png. So I'm going to load it. So it is present in image examples, and the name of the image is img.png. Okay. So what it will do, it will just load the image and it will store the image in this variable, that is image variable. And if you want to see the information more about this function called as IMRead, you can do it by just using Shift tab. Okay.
Yeah, could you please zoom in into the Jupyter Notebook?
Okay. No problem. Yeah. Is it okay now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, here I press just Shift tab. Okay, by keyboard, and here you can see it loads an image from a file. So if you forget any function, if you don't know any function, you can find the information by using the Shift tab from your keyboard key. Okay, so moving further. So now in order to show that image, in order to display that image, I'll be using IMShow function. Okay, so just use it cv2.imshow, and now here I will press Shift tab again, and you can see that the first parameter it takes is win name, which is nothing but the what title you want for your Windows name, okay, which will appear on the screen. So suppose I want my Windows name as my image. Okay, let's take the Windows title name as my image. And next second parameter is the image variable. So here I am taking the image variable as image itself. Okay, so here I will just type it down image. And after we, you know what this line will do, after we execute this line, what will happen is the window will pop up and image will display. And in that particular window, you can see the title as my IMG. Okay, I hope it clears. And now talking about wait key, it is very important function under CV2. That is wait key. So I will use it. Just type it down CV2 dot wait key. So what it does is, okay, so what it does is, as soon as the particular window is opened, unless and until I don't press any key, it will not get closed. Okay, so this is what this wait key specifies. So suppose I take like wait key and I will pass suppose 0 number. Okay, or if I will keep it blank, just wait key and I will keep it blank. Okay, I will not pass anything to the wait key function. So what this will do, this they both will perform the same function. That is, they will display the window and until we press any key, the window will not get closed. Okay, so it will remain as it is opened until we press any key from keyboard. So that's what this wait key does. And suppose we want to specify any time for it, then that also we can do. So suppose I'll pass a wait key and any other number other than 0. So I'll pass 1. So what this line will do, it will display a window for 1 millisecond. Okay. And after which display will be automatically get closed. That means this is the time or delay we can say for how long you want to keep your window open. Okay. And here we providing the time in the milliseconds. And finally, for destroying all the windows, that is for closing all the opened windows, we want to use the function cv2 dot destroy all windows. Remember here all A and W are capital. Okay. Okay. So what it will do, it will closes all open windows. Like if I use I am show many times. Okay. So it will open, it will create several windows. So for closing them all and for for it will cause your program to hang also if several windows are opening simultaneously. So for closing them all, it is a good practice to write this line after the code. Okay, so I will run this now. Wait key. Just a minute. I think I made a mistake. Model cv2.cv2 has not attribute wait key. Import cv2 image cv2.imread then cv2.imshow.
So is capital for wait key.
Oh yeah.
No, just the K. K is capital.
Okay. I think my laptop is getting hang. Yeah. So you can see here a window appears here. Okay. You can see the image now. Okay. And the title is having my IMG. Okay. That I gave to the code. So you can see here, and until and unless I press any key from keyboard, it will not get closed. So here, if I press any key from keyboard, suppose I will press enter key. So you can see it got closed. So I will take a pause now, and if you guys have any doubts up till now, you can ask me in the chat box. So you guys, you have any doubt? Please tell. You can tell me in the chat box. Okay, what are the doubts? You are not able to see the screen, Laksh. Now, can you see the screen now? Is it visible? I guess it is visible. Okay, okay, yeah. Thank you, Laksh. Okay, so I think there is no doubt up till now. Error is in the cv2.im show and not on the path. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so just move further. Okay, so now moving further, how images are stored. Okay, so if I see an image, it has some height and width, right? And colorful images are in the form of RGB channels, that is red, green, and blue. So if you want to see the height and width of any image that you loaded in the program, then simply import NumPy. Okay, so I'm going to import it. Okay, and for finding out the shape, I will going to print image.shape. You can see here I'm using image. Why so? Because here I'm using the variable name. So if you put this variable name as input or img or anything, you have to use the same variable name here also for finding out the shape. So I will run this. Yeah. So you can see here the three values are there. So the first value, that is 900 pixels, it is nothing but the height of your image. Okay. This second value is the width of your image. And the third value is how many channels it has. So currently it is a colorful image. So it is having 3 channels. Okay. But if I have any black and white image, or I can say if I have any gray image, grayscale image, then it just have one channel. Okay, containing black and white color together. So that is about the image.shape. Now, if you want to print each dimension of the image separately, okay, so suppose you want to print height of the image separately, you can easily do that by just printing input.shape and just by passing the 0 index in it, okay? And I'm going to call it as pixels, okay? Here also input.shape and width is present in the second value, so that means 1 index, okay? And similarly pixels. Functional shape in, oh so sorry, this is not input, this is image variable. Okay, fine. So here you can see the height of the image is 900 pixels and width is 1200 pixels. Okay, so this is about to print dimensions of image and like what are channels, what is 3 channels, what is 1 channels, what is RGB, all these things. Okay, so now moving further, now if you want to save any image in other formats like JPG, PNG, okay, so you can easily do it by using the line, by using the function IAmWrite. So I can show you the cv2.IAmWrite. Then type any name. So I'll type like my output. Okay. I'll type my output.png. And of course the image variable, which is image itself. And not only this, we can save images in other formats also, okay, like JPG, PNG or any other format. So I will show you that also. So just type cv2.IAmWrite. Then I will call my output.jpg. Okay. And also not forget to provide the second parameter, which is the image variable. So here you can see it comes true. Okay, if I run this, it will become true. And if I go to my folder now, so you can see in the folder, the my output.jpg and my output.png are getting created. Okay, that means we saved this image successfully in the PNG and JPG format with our choice of name. Okay, so that's it about the part 1, that is simply reading and displaying images. Okay, now moving to the part 2, which is face and eye detection from images. Like, this is very important part, guys. Please listen carefully. So we will see some use cases. Okay, the first one is face and eye detection using HAR cascade classifiers. So what I'm going to do is, I will upload some face images of some personalities, and with the help of HAR cascade classifiers, I'll be trying to detect where the face is and where are the eyes are present in the face images. Okay, so now let's see first what is HAR cascade classifiers. So just I will type it down, HAR cascade classifier OpenCV. You can see here in the OpenCV documentation. So HAR cascade classifier is the very good thing provided by OpenCV. HAR cascade classifiers helps you to see various features like edge features, line features, for rectangle features within a particular face. Okay, and when a face image is given, it will be able to detect where the face features are, where the eyes features are located in the face images. So it can detect properly. Okay, you will going to see deeply about edge detection, template matching, and all those stuff in the next session from CV series. So that's it about the HAR cascade classifiers. Now, and yes, most importantly, all these features are stored in XML files. So OpenCV has provided XML files in OpenCV GitHub. So I already downloaded it, and here you can see in HAR cascades, here you can see there is a separate XML file for car features, for eye features, for frontal face features, and for full body also. So it will uniquely able to detect your face features, your eyes features, objects like car. It can detect full body also. Okay, even in the video, it can identify objects and people very easily. So I can show you the XML file. So it contains some numbers, some numerical numbers, and it has some features. Okay, it is storing some features like width, height, where is the starting coordinates, x, y, all those stuff in XML. So now to begin with, I am going to first import the libraries, which are nothing but the NumPy and CV2. So let's import it. Okay. Now I will be using frontal face XML file. Here you can see it is present. Okay, frontal face XML file in my HAR cascades folder. So I'll be using that XML file in order to detect the frontal face. So for that, I'll be using the cascade classifier function for loading that particular XML file. Okay, so I will give the name to the variable as let's say face classifiers. Okay, and the function is cascade classifier. And here I can provide the path to it. So it is present in the HAR cascades folder. And the file name is HAR cascade underscore frontal face underscore default. Frontal face underscore default. Okay, dot XML. It is in the XML extension. So now this is face classifier is nothing but the object, okay, which is created, and this object can determine where the face is in the image. So this cascade classifier is doing some simple function. It is just loading this XML file into this object, that is face classifier. Okay, and now moving further. So now I will load an image. So suppose I will load image equal to ev2 dot imread, and here I will provide the path. So let's take an image. Suppose I'll take image of Modi sir. Okay, so image examples, it is present in image examples, and it is the capital letter and JPG form. Okay, so it will load my image in the variable image, that is image. Now I want to convert the image into gray color. Okay, that is RGB to gray. So for doing this, I will be using the function called as CVT color. So I will use it, and I will take a variable name as gray. So just write the function, that is cv2 dot cvt color, cvt color, and here you have to pass two parameters. So the first one is image variable, which is nothing but the image itself, and the second one is to convert RGB form to grayscale. So for it, we have to use one function here as a parameter, that is cv2 dot color underscore bgr to gray. Okay. Here, most important thing is here this function is in the capital letter. So don't forget to write it in the capital letters. So what it does is that usually when OpenCV reads an image, it stores in BGR format, okay, not in RGB format. So it's stored in blue, green, red format. So the reason, and here this function will convert the BGR image to gray image, okay. And the reason for converting it into the gray image is that it will be very easy and more quicker to perform some functions, to perform some detections, to perform some XML features from that gray image. Why so? Because it has just only one channel, that is the black and white together. So it will be very easy and very quick. So that's why I am converting the colored image into the gray image. Okay. So once our image gets converted into a black and white image, next thing is that inside my face classifier object, I am going to use one inbuilt function called as detect multiscale to find out the features or locations of our face. Okay. And I'm going to store it in a variable called as faces. Here I'm going to use the same object variable. So that is face underscore classifier. Underscore classifier. Okay. Face underscore classifier dot, and here I'm going to use the function that is detect multiscale. Detect multiscale. Okay, and here it is very important part, guys, please listen carefully. This function takes three arguments. Okay, the first one is the image variable, and here I am going to provide image as a grayscale image. That's why I will be using the image variable name as the gray. Okay, so the first argument will be the gray. The second one is the scale factor. Okay, I will be explaining you these parameters very deeply after running the cell. Okay, so the second parameter will be the scale factor, and by default its value is 1.3. So I'll be using the same default value as 1.3. And the third parameter is mean neighbors. So I'll be using suppose 5. Okay, I'll be telling you these arguments very clearly. Okay, just wait for some time. Now when no face is detected, the face classifier object will return an empty tuple. Okay, these faces will have actually 4 values, that is starting x coordinate, starting y coordinates, and width and height. Okay, so x, y, w, h. And if it returns an empty tuple, I have to print that no face is found. So that's why I'm writing a condition that if faces is null. Okay, so what will it do? It will print no faces found. Okay, now I'm going to put a for loop. So this faces variable from detect multiscale will give you 4 values: x, y, height, and width of the face. Okay, of that particular face image. So I'm going to put a for loop for and going to put those 4 values which the faces will return. So that is x, y, w, and h. I'm going to for loop it in the variable faces. Okay. Now I'm just going to draw a rectangle on the face. Okay, that the face is going to detect. So that's why I am just going to draw a rectangle. So for it, I'm just going to use the simple function, that is rectangle. So cv2 dot rectangle, and here it have 4 to 5 parameters in the rectangle function. So the first parameter is the image variable, that the original image. So I'm going to provide the image variable. Then the starting points of the face, like where the face begins, starting point. So that point is nothing but the x and y. And the end points, that is nothing but the starting point plus width and plus height. So this is nothing but the x plus w, and second one is the y plus h. Okay, that is the ending points of the face. Then the fourth parameter is the color that we want to draw to rectangle. Okay, the color to the rectangle will be in the form of BGR, of course. So I am going to I'm going to draw a color to the rectangle as pinkish. So the code for the pink color is in the BGR format is 127.0 then 255. Okay, and here I will explain this. Suppose the first value, suppose I take the first value as 255, and second and third as 0, then it will be the blue color. Okay, so this is nothing but the first value is blue, second green, and third red. So if I put green value as 255 and first and third value as 0, then it will be in the green color. Okay, and for the third one, if I put 255 here, it will be in the red color. But the condition is the other 2 values should be 0. But here I am not going to use blue, green, and red color. I am going to use pink color. So that's why I have to write the code, or we can say write the ID for that color, which is nothing but the 127, 0, and 255. You can get the codes for any colors like purple, bluish, black, whatever it is in the Google search. Okay, you can simply Google search the color code and you can get it there. And the last parameter in the rectangle function is nothing but the thickness of borderline of rectangle in pixels. Okay, So I'm going to provide the thickness as 2 pixels. Okay. So I want my rectangle to have thickness of 2 pixels. Okay. So next is finally I am going to show it. Okay. So for that, I'm going to just use IamShow function as I said earlier. Okay, IamShow will display the image. So cv2.iamShow, I will title it as face image. Okay, or face detection maybe. Face detection will be more accurate to it. Okay, and of course the image variable at the end. And now don't forget to specify the weight key. So I will specify it as 0. That means until and unless I press any key from keyboard, the window will not get closed at all. And finally, for closing all the open windows, we are going to use cv2.destroy all windows. So let's run this. Okay, so you can see here a window will get created. Okay, if it is not responding. Just a minute. I made a same mistake. The K from key should be capital. Okay, yeah. Now you can see the face. Okay, the face detection is properly done. Okay, you can see the face detected very properly. Okay, it is accurate. Now just a minute, I will run it again. I have to explain one more point here. Yeah, so here this is nothing but the starting coordinate. Okay, so this is our x and y, and this will be the width, and this point will be the x plus w. Okay, so x and endpoints will be x plus w. Similarly, this is x and the endpoints will be the x plus y plus h. Okay, this will be the y and this is y plus h. So x plus w and y plus h. So in that way we draw the rectangle. Now I have to explain these 2 points to you. Okay, these two what we say values. Okay, for or parameters on detect multi-scale. So the second parameter is scale factor. Okay, I have to write it. Okay, I'll write it here. The second parameter is scale factor. Okay, so by default it is 1.3. So I will tell you the scale factor by using the paint, so it will be more clear to you. Okay, yeah. So here I am going to use a rectangle. Okay, so suppose your image size is like this. Okay, let's say this is your image. Okay, and image size and window size will be the same. Okay, so you know in the scale factor what is the factor is that के वहाँ पे एक मिनिमम साइज एंड एक मैक्सिमम साइज रहती है. So suppose this is a minimum size of the image. Okay, suppose this is the minimum size of the image, and what will be the maximum size? Of course the image complete size will be the maximum size to it, right? And now the algorithm or that function, that multi-scale functions which extract features, eye features, face features from the image, will going to extract this, but not only once. It will going to extract this multiple times, you know, for the accuracy and for the algorithm or for the function to become very effective. So what will it do? If I provide the scale factor as 1.3, so it will scale this minimum size by 1.3 and it will maximize it. So first of all, it will search here and it will record some features. Then it will search here by the complete scale factor that we are going to provide. So this will be, suppose this will be the scaling by 1.3. Let me write it. So this is nothing. Okay, ये जो है वो scaling है by 1.3. Okay. This is nothing but the what? Scaling, okay, by 1.3. Because I am providing the default value as 1.3. Now, it will again maximize, it will again scale by the same scale factor. And here I am providing the default, that is 1.3. So again, it will maximize the image, the smaller part of image by 1.3. Okay. So again, it will check, again, it will extract some features, and again, it will scale it by the same 1.3. So it will do the same things until when? Until it reach to the maximum size as of the image. So it will do the same process again and again until it reach to the maximum size. Okay, so the last will be the maximum size. And this scale factor will be the same. Okay, so you can see here this image features is getting detected several times. Okay, this is also getting detected several times, but this image is getting detected or is getting tested only one time. So it depends on the scale factor. About like our accuracy, our perfection of the detection is depend upon the scale factor. But by default, for colorful images, 1.3 scale factor is the best one. So that's why I'm using the 1.3 there. Okay. Now talking about the third parameter. Here I'm providing the 5. The third parameter is nothing but the mean neighbors. I will write it down. BORS, okay? Mean neighbors. So this is nothing but the parameter specifying how many neighbors each candidate rectangle should have to retain it. I'll repeat again. This parameter is nothing but it specifies that how many neighbors each candidate rectangle should have to retain it. Suppose I'll put it at 0 and I'll run this cell. What will happen? Let's see. Yeah. Now I will use enter key. Okay. You can see one box is getting created. I will again press enter key. You can see the other box also. Okay. So it is detecting several times because of our scale factor. Okay. Similarly, you can see many more. As soon as I press enter key, it is detecting one more box and one more box. And now for detecting the accuracy, for detecting the perfect face, what we are going to do, we are going to put a correct value for the mean neighbors. So you can see this box, okay, this box is nothing but it is the false positive. Why false positive? Because it is detecting that the face lies in this area. Okay, so it is saying that this is positive. It lies in this area. But this statement is false because it doesn't lies in this area. It is upside also. Okay, so this is a false statement. So that's why this box is known as the false positive. So you can see this box is also false positive. This box is also false positive. So in the mean neighbors parameter, what we have to do, we have to reduce these false positives. And for that, we can do one thing, that we can set mean neighbors parameter higher. Higher the parameter, it will reduces false positive at the higher rate. Okay. So I will tell you what is mean neighbors actual. Okay. So here you can see these are 3 boxes, right? Here you can see these are the 2 boxes. If I provide mean neighbors as 2, what it will do? It will consider only those boxes which are in the neighborhood, and it will consider only 2 boxes which are in the neighborhood, and it will ignore all the boxes which appear 1 time or 0 time. Okay, but here I am providing it as 5. So it will what it will do? It will just consider 5 neighborhood boxes and consider them as 1. and it will ignore other boxes which appears 4 times, 3 times, 2 times, or 1 times. So it will make our model more accurate. It will make our what we say software more accurate. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if I take it as 3, you can see the difference. Okay. If I take it as 3. If I take it as 2, you can see I'm pressing shift enter. So sorry. If I take it as 2 and press enter, it will get disappears. That means it is like 2 is also a great value for it. Okay. It is just considering two values, two neighborhood values, because for the detection for the accurate model. I hope you understand this mean neighbors concept. Then moving to the further face and eye detection. Okay, so for moving further, I want to ask you, like, if you have any doubts up till now, if you have any doubts in mean neighbors parameters or scale factor, don't worry, just ask me in the chat box. I will repeat that part again. No issue in that. Okay, so do you guys have any doubt? Um, how iterating can help to distinguish features? Okay. सो सपोज हम यहाँ पे एक एग्जाम्पल लेंगे एक बच्चे का, ठीक है। अगर हम उस बच्चे को बोल रहे हैं कि याद रखो ये पैरट है, ये पैरट है, he will not understand in the first time. So that's what our ML algorithm or any ML computer vision function is. So it will not understand features, it will not detect features in one time. We have to test it many more times so that it can fit in the memory of the algorithm so well. So that's why we are iterating or we are testing many times by using the scale factor. Okay. We can take intersection of multiple boxes and combine them as one. I didn't get your question. Can you please type it again more briefly? We can take intersection of multiple boxes, okay, and combine them as one. I didn't get it. That neighbors parameters. We can take intersection of multiple boxes, okay, and combine them as one. Yeah, you can do that, you can do that. But this is so simple, no? Just providing any value to the mean neighbors and we can get an accurate. So this is so simple. Or instead of just intersection multiple boxes, then the cropping multiple boxes, intersecting them, then combining again, it will increase our code. You know, we can just add any value, any number to the mean neighbors. It will easy. Okay. Vidya Lakshmi is saying, can you explain neighbors again? Okay, no problem. Okay. Okay, so the third parameter is mean neighbors. Okay, I'll explain this. I'll use Paint for it. It is a good option. Okay. So suppose this is my image. Okay, this is my image, and my face is located in the image. And when I run my code for mean neighbors equal to 0, okay, that means I'm not providing any value to the mean neighbors parameters. So what it will show, it will detect faces. Like suppose it will detect face is present in this area. It will also detect that face, no, this is not true. Face is present in this area. Okay. So one test will say the face lies in this area. So it can cause like many more what we say faces or many more rectangles here. Okay, so suppose this is my image, and on putting 0 value to the mean neighbors, it is detecting this type of boxes. Okay, and if I put the mean neighbors as 4, so what it will do, it will consider only neighborhood 4 boxes, and it will ignore all the boxes which are present. So here you can see the 4 neighborhood boxes present is only this. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the neighborhood boxes. So it will consider only this, and it will draw some image like this. It will draw okay, yeah, it will draw something like this. Okay, just a minute. Yeah, it will draw something like this by taking these 4 images in its memory, because we are providing the mean neighbors value as 4. So it will only consider the 4 neighborhood rectangles, and the algorithm will make it as 1. Okay, these 4 algorithms it will consider, and it will make it as 1, and it will ignore these 2. Why? Because we are providing the mean neighbors as 4, it will only consider this neighborhood boxes are true 2, but we are not considering those 2 boxes, we are considering only 4 boxes. So hence it will, it will affect in the model betterment, or we can say the model accuracy. So I hope you got that now. uh, okay, nice. uh, what is algorithm Haar cascade classifier is using? Is it taking the mean scaled box, iterate over image, and detect features? Yeah. I explained in the same manner. It is like it is detecting mini box, and finally it is iterating over the image and detecting the features. And after detecting the features, it is providing some rectangles. It is drawing some rectangles. And by mean neighbors parameter, it is detecting just one perfect rectangle on the face. So yeah, the same technique is using in the Haar cascade classifier. Yeah, okay. So any other doubts, guys? So the more number of boxes, better is the model. Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, the more number of boxes, the better is the model. But we have to make sure the number of boxes. Like if we are taking the parameter mean neighbors as suppose 8 or 9, but it is not existing in the image. The maximum neighborhood rectangles, the number is just 6, let's say, and we are providing the parameter as 8 or 9. We are providing the more number of boxes, but it is not present in the face image, so that is of no use. It will not detect anything. So you have to make sure like what are the maximum numbers of neighborhood parameters by checking it again and again by trial and error basis, like 0, put 0 value, then put 1 value, then put 2 value, in this manner. Okay, any other doubts by any other student? Can you explain coordinates again, please? X, Y, X plus W. Yeah. Okay, I'll use the paint for that. Okay, so in general maths, we said that this is x-axis. How to draw it straight, man? Okay, suppose this is x-axis. Okay, it is not straight, but let's say it is straight and it is x-axis. And suppose this is y-axis. Okay, so in the math, this is x-axis. This is the positive part. This is y, and this is the y positive part. Okay, I'll write it down. Suppose this is the X part and this is the Y part. Okay. I'll take this brush. Okay. But in the computer vision, it is opposite. Okay. In the computer vision, this is the X part. In the computer vision, this is the X part. Okay. And this is the Y part. This is the Y part. So it's not up, it's upside down. Okay. In computer vision, it's upside down. So you have to forget general mathematics here. Okay. So here, this is X positive and this is Y positive. Okay. And the starting coordinates will be the same. This point. This will be the X and Y, which is nothing but the starting points. Okay. And this is nothing but this will be the width of any image. Okay. Because consider this as a box. Okay. Complete box, complete rectangle of that particular face detection. So this will be the width and this will be the height. Okay. So if you want to draw a rectangle, we must know the four values, that is the starting coordinates, that is X and Y. Okay. And also the width and the height. So it will become, this is X coordinate plus width. So this will become X plus W, and this will become, this is Y and this is height. So this will become Y plus H. Okay. So that's why we want these four parameters, X, Y, and X plus W, Y plus H. So we can easily draw a rectangle over the face. So that's why we are providing these values, four values, X, Y, X plus W, and Y plus H in the rectangle function. I hope it's clear. Yeah. Math part of Cartesian coordinates was different. Okay, great. Okay, thank you, Amit. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you, Harsh. Okay, just let's move further. Okay, so now we detected the face very well. Now we have to detect face and eyes. Okay, we have to just combine both types of detection. So let's see here. Okay, so here I am going to use Haar Cascade for eye features. Okay, you can find it on the OpenCV GitHub, and I'll also put it I'll also put XML files links in the drive link, so you can download it from there also. Okay, so for face detection we have to follow the same procedure, that is importing libraries NumPy and CV2, then including Cascade classifiers, using Cascade classifier functions. Here I am going to use Haar Cascade for eye also. Okay, so I just put here the path, and I store these these XML files in the face classifier function and the eye XML file in the eye classifier object. Okay, I just load the image in the img variable and then I convert it into the gray. Okay, for getting our model more quicker and easier. Then I just provide the detect multi-scale features, and I provided these three parameters, that is scale factor, detect multi-scale, mean neighbors, and the image variable in the face classifier. Okay, these are the similar steps that I used here. Okay, this is for the face detection. And here I put the condition, like if face is not present, it is null. If it returns an empty tuple without returning the X, Y, W, and H, just print no face found. Okay, and if it returns an tuple, so I'll using the for loop here, and I'll be using the rectangle function for drawing the rectangle in the similar manner as I had done before, and I'll show the image and I'll show the weight key. Okay, so this is for the face detection. Now we have to combine the eye detection in the face detection. Okay, so let's see how to do that. Okay, so first of all, if face is found, I am going to draw a rectangle and I am going to crop that particular face. Okay, so for eye detection, it is very required to pass the exact face image to it. So that's why I'm cropping the rectangle which detect the face and I'm passing it into the eye detection. Okay, so it will be continued in the loop itself. Okay, so let's see how to do that. So I'll be cropping the image. Okay, so for that, for cropping the grayscale image, gray, simply write gray, then y colon y plus h, comma x colon x plus w. Okay, because on adding height and y and on adding width and x, we will get the rectangle and we have to crop it. So this is the technique that we are going to use for cropping that. And after cropping this grayscale image, we are going to store it in a variable. So let's take a variable name as ROI underscore gray. So here ROI, I'm taking this variable name because of a specific reason. Okay, ROI stands for region of interest. Okay, so for eye detection, my region of interest is nothing but that particular face rectangle. Okay, so that's why I'm purposely using this variable name ROI underscore gray. But you can use any other variable name. Okay, no issue in that. Similarly, I will do for color image also. It is of no use in this code here to cropping a colored image, because after all we have to pass the same grayscale image for eye detection also. But here I'm using the colored image cropping also. Okay, for just explaining you how to do that. Same like that, y colon y plus h and x colon x plus w. Okay, so it will crop the gray image and it will store the cropped image in the ROI gray. Similarly, it will crop the image, colored image, and it will store the cropped image in the ROI color. Okay. Now, let's take detect multiscale eye classifier function, same as this. Okay, faces. Okay, same. So we have to specify eyes equal to eye classifier dot detect multiscale. Here I am already mentioned eye classifier. Okay, it stores this XML file, and now I want that object to detect my features, to detect my specially eye features. Okay, from the face. So that's why I am using the eye classifier dot detect multiscale function. And here it is required, to pass just cropped image in the eye detection for the accurate detection of eyes. So that's why I'm passing here ROI underscore gray. Okay, that particular cropped image from the face detection. So what it will do, it will take the eye features from ROI gray using the detect multiscale, and in the similar manner of face, I will get 4 values. Okay, that is X, Y, W, and H. So I can take a for loop here in the similar manner. Okay, so here I am getting the tuple. Okay, in the form of like eyes will return a tuple, that is X, Y, W, and H. But here I'll be using other name for it. Okay, that is EX, EY, EW, EH. Just for avoiding the confusion. Okay, कि X किसका था, EX किसका था, ये confusion avoid करने के लिए I am using EX, EY, EW, EH, so that it will specify that X coordinate of eyes. So EX, EY. Okay, you can use just XYWH also, okay? No issue in that. So for loop, and then I will specify the variable name, that is eyes. I'm going to looping it, okay? And I'm going to construct a rectangle, okay? Same process. CV2 dot rectangle, and here I'm going to pass the original colored cropped image. So that is nothing but the ROI color. So here that's why I'm using ROI underscore color. Then the parameters, the starting points of the rectangle, that is EX, EY. So that's why EX comma EY. Okay. And then the ending points, that is addition of X plus width and Y plus height. So that's why it will become EX plus EW, and the second value will be the EY plus EH. Okay. And I'm going to give it a value of color. Okay. This parameter is nothing but the color parameter. So I'm going to put this code. It is of some bluish shade. Okay. Not perfect blue. It is of bluish shade. So I'm using this code, or you can say the ID. And the last parameter is nothing but the thickness of the rectangle in pixels. So I'm using the same thickness for eye detection also. Okay. So let's move it further. So now what I have to do, I have to do just like I have to print or I have to display the image. So I'll be using the same function cv2.imshow, and here I have to write, suppose my image name will be img. Okay. Okay, let's take it further. Here I'm using img because I loaded that image file in the img variable, okay, not in the image variable. So please note it. Okay. Then just using wait key. Okay. And finally, it is a good practice to closing all the open windows, and for not like to let down the laptop to be hang, I am using cv2.destroy all windows for closing all the open windows. Okay. So I am going to shift enter. Okay, you can see here the Modi ji's picture using the face detection. Okay, now I will press enter key again. Okay, my laptop gets stuck. Oh shit, charging is full. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, guys, okay? Hmm. Okay, I will close the program and I will open it again. No issue. My laptop gets stuck, so that's why I can't be able to show you that eye detection. Okay. I will try to run it again. See what happens. Okay, my image is there. It is getting stuck. I don't know why it is getting stuck. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes. Or I can show you the output. I have written the code already, so I can run that already saved cell also. I'll run that. So it will be more easy. Okay, it is loading. Let's see if it will work or not. I'll run it. Okay, my image is here. I'll press enter key again. Okay, yeah, perfect. So yeah, you can see one box is there. Okay, the bluish shade box for the eye. So the one eye is getting detected perfectly. I'll press enter key again so that I can see the second eye is getting detected or not. But the image get closed. So that means the second eye is not getting detected. I will show you again. Okay. Okay, one eye is detected properly, but second eye, when I press enter key, the window will automatically get closed. That means it is enabled to detect the second eye. Why so? Because here in the picture, Modi ji is wearing specs. Okay, so the algorithm is confused, like where is the eye features located. So it is detecting only one eye. So that is the disadvantage of OpenCV. Okay, and like here I provided some materials like some I think you guys have some confusion in scale factor and mean neighbors, so you can refer this. I'll put down this information in the drive link itself so that you can refer it. Okay, so now moving to the further, that is part 3, face and eye detection from videos. Okay, now we are going to see how to detect face and eyes from videos itself. Okay, so before moving further, if you guys have any doubts in like combining the face and eye detection, you can put it in the chat box. Yeah. Wait key is capital K. Yeah. How to auto detect eyes and faces without pressing enter key. So you can write the condition. Okay. So like in a wait key, I am passing a value as 0 or I kept it blank. For that, like it is the condition that when I will press enter key, it will get closed. But if you want to close the window automatically, you can do it by passing any number to the wait key. If you pass number, suppose 4 millisecond, okay? So for 4 millisecond, the window will get opened. It will detect automatically eyes and faces within 4 seconds and it will get closed automatically. You don't have to press any enter key or any key from keyboard, okay? I hope it clears now. Code. I'll provide the code. I will provide the drive link. Don't worry about it. At the end of session, I will provide the drive link, including the code, the notebooks, the materials that I have learned, and also the recording as well. Okay. Don't worry about it. I will provide all the things. Okay. So let's move further. Okay. So here you are going to do. We are going to do just face and eye detection from videos. Okay. So now we will see how to detect face and eyes from videos. Videos in the sense, if I'm opening a webcam in front of me, it should be determined my face features, my eyes. Okay. So I'm not going to write a line by line code here because now you're familiar with some basic functions. So I will explain the code but line by line. Okay. But I will not write it again because because of time limits also. Okay. So suppose here this what we say, the code is the same. I just loaded the XML files and stored it in the face cascade variable, or we can say the object. Similarly, I stored the eye features XML file and stored it in the variable, or we can say the object, in the eye cascade. Okay. Then next, in CV2, we have a function, okay, called as a video capture. So if I give the value as 0 here, so it will get, like, it is a default value. Okay. So if I give the value as 0, my default webcam in my laptop will get opened. Okay. So similarly, if you have any webcam connected to the USB cable, okay, at that time you have to specify this value as 1. Okay, because the ID for webcam connected to USB cable is 1 for video capture function, and it is 0 for the default webcam, okay, for the integrated webcam that we have in our laptops. Okay, so as soon as your webcam gets started, that is, I am putting here the condition, okay, while true. So as soon as your webcam gets started, this is a very important part, so listen carefully. Okay, so when your webcam gets started, you can capture frames from that webcam. Okay, so each and every second your webcam will show different frames. So within that particular time, you can capture frames. I'll repeat again. When your webcam gets started, you can capture frames. Okay, for each and every second, and your webcam will show different frames. Okay, and frames will get captured in the variable here called as frame. Okay, here I'm just reading the video, I'm just loading that particular video from the webcam, and the frames for each and every second will get captured, and it will stored in the variable name as frame. And this RET is nothing but the return function. It will show that, like, it is a Boolean function, it is true or false, the video is loaded successfully or not. For that, this function is there. Okay, RET. Okay, now okay, read means here it is reading the frames, okay, from my video, by using the video capture. Okay, next I am converting the video, the frames into gray. Okay, the colored frames, the colored video captures into gray, because as I said earlier, the RGB images takes time, for finding the Haar cascade features, for finding and detecting the features well for the video. So hence I am converting the color image into gray. Okay, then I am calling the detect function here, and I am passing the values as gray. Okay, as gray, that is the gray image and the frame. Okay, so let's see what is this detect function is in the above code. Okay, so now we will see the function, like what it does, the detect function. So it is detecting the face and eyes from my videos. So all the code is present in this function itself. So here it is detecting some features by providing mean neighbors, scale factor, and the gray image parameter. Then as I already coded that I am using the for loop here in the faces, and I am drawing a rectangle for my face, and I am using blue color for it. Okay, the first parameter is 255 and others are 0. That means it is nothing but the blue color. Okay, here I'm just cropping the images because it's a video, and it's essential, to cropping the images for detection of eyes. Okay, so here I'm cropping the gray image and the colored image. Okay, in the similar manner as I done before. And now here I am again detecting features for the eyes. In the above code, I detected features for the faces. In the below code, I am going to detect the features for the eyes. Okay, and in the similar manner, I am also going to provide the for loop for the x coordinate, y coordinate, width, and height. It is for the eyes. Okay, and again I'm going to draw a rectangle for the eyes. So this code is for drawing the rectangle for the eyes, and the above code was for the face. And like here I am passing the frame because I am going to use the frame in the rectangle function. Okay, so that's why I'm passing it here. And by running the code, finally I'm returning the frame. Okay, the captured frame having the rectangle, having the constructed rectangle of detecting faces and eyes. So I'm returning that particular frame to the detect function. And here what going to do is the frame are returning to the canvas. Okay, and here I'm going to simply show a video, and I'm going to pass the value, the frame. Okay, and the frame is nothing but the canvas now, because I'm assigning this function to the variable name as canvas. So the frames will be situated in the canvas function. So as soon as I return the frame, I will display it by using the IAMShow function. And here video is nothing but the title. Okay, title of my video will be the video. Like it is the what we say, video will be the camera frame name. Okay, so my video will be showing in the particular canvas. Okay, then I have written the condition here that unless and until I don't press Q key. Okay, this is the Q key from keyboard. Okay, until and unless I don't press any Q key, it shouldn't break. Okay, the program shouldn't break. The program should continue. Okay, and as soon as it breaks, it will release. What it will release? It will release all the objects that we created for video capture. So it is like free up space. Okay, it is just freeing up the space. It is just releasing all the objects that we have created in the video for the video capture. Okay, and finally we are going to destroy all the windows. Okay, so I hope you understand this code. We are going to do just, we are going to import a video from the webcam. Okay, from the webcam itself, and we are just going to process it. We are just going to draw a rectangle of face and eyes. We are going to detect it by using these two parameters, that is mean neighbors and scale factors. We are going to put a condition that until and unless I press Q key from the keyboard, it should not break. And finally I'm releasing the free space and I'm closing all the open windows. Okay, so let's see how it will execute. Okay, so I will run it. Okay, so my webcam is getting started, and here you can see the window is opened. Okay, so you can see the title of my window here. Okay, that is nothing but, okay, just a minute, I'll get close. Okay, so here you can see the title named here, that is video. Okay, because I put it here, the video name. Okay, so the canvas, so the frame of mine is titled is video. Okay, and it is detecting my face and eyes, but while I'm talking, it is detecting my mouth area also. But when I stop talking, it will detect correctly. Okay, look, when I stop talking, it is detecting correctly. So it is a disadvantage of the OpenCV that, you know, the face should be the frontal face, and it should be the, you know, not moving and not talking face. So if I move towards this angle, you can see it is detecting correctly. Okay, it is detecting correctly. So yeah, this is about the face and eyes detection from the webcam itself. Okay, but the disadvantage is that when I'm talking, it is detecting my mouth part also. Okay, so it is not a perfect. This is the disadvantage of OpenCV, and hence you know, we use some deep learning models for it, for betterment of it and for accurate precision of it, that you will definitely gonna see in our coming sessions in the CV series. So now for closing the window, I'll be using the Q key from the keyboard. Okay, here enter key will not be will not execute. Okay, only Q key will get executed. Why? Because I put the condition that until and unless I press Q key, it will not get closed. Okay, so now I'm pressing the Q key. Yeah, so you can see the window got closed. So yeah, this is about the face and eye detection from videos in the sense webcams. Okay, so let's see if you guys have any doubts in it. ORD command. Okay, it is the hexadecimal. Okay, it is converting this. Just a minute. Okay, it is converting this Q key. Okay, in the hexadecimal order. So if I press Q key, so it will return to my system a number, a hexadecimal number. So my system will recognize it. Oh, okay, that users pressed Q key. Okay, it will not recognize my Q key. It will recognize the hexadecimal number which are provided in the form of Q key. Okay. Any other doubts, guys? सबको समझ रहा है ना अच्छे से? Like, please put yes or no, like you are getting it or not. Okay, okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So let's move further. Okay. So this is very important part and very interesting also. Okay. This is the part 4. It is about car and pedestrian detection from the videos. Okay. So up till now we saw like reading images and displaying images. Okay. Then we saw object detection from just images. We saw face and eye detection from images. Then we saw face and eye detection from webcams. Now we are going to see the object detection from the videos. Okay. So it is very interesting part, guys. So please pay attention to it. Okay. So the first part is pedestrian detection. So I'm going to follow the same procedure. Okay. Now, we need another classifier here as a full body classifier, because to detect the body of a person, okay, to detect the correct person in the video, we should have this XML file, that is Haar Cascade full body. Okay. Here I provided the link also for OpenCV GitHub link, so you can go there and check out the XML file, how it is, how the numbers are getting stored in it. Okay. So here I'm loading this Haar Cascade car XML file into the car classifier object. Okay. Then I'm loading the video. This is nothing but the video. Okay. Video path. Here you can see in the image examples. Here is that video cars.avi. Look, here the MP4, MP3 वो video नहीं चलेगा. यहाँ पे AVI extension चलेगा. So if you have any MP4 video, you can convert it online to AVI. So I already converted it, and ये कार का वीडियो की कार जा रहे हैं इसे, तो ये मैंने वीडियो कैप्चर करके I stored it in the cap. Okay, in the cap variable. Okay. So car classifier will contain the XML file, and the cap variable will contain that particular video. Okay. Now I'm just going to put a condition that while cap dot is opened, that means while cap variable is having that particular video. Okay. While cap variable is having that particular video, I am going to capture the frames. Okay. I'm going to capture the frames. Time.slip is nothing but the slow mode or fast mode for it. Okay. You can see the information of it in the OpenCV documentation also. It is not required here, but I wrote it. Okay. For the slow mode, and here I will read it will read the first frame. Cap.read. Okay. It will read the first frame from the video capture, and it will store it in the frame, and it will return a Boolean value in the RET function. If it is true, that means the video captures successfully. If it is false, that means there is some problem in video capturing or in frame capturing from that particular video. Okay. Now, as I done earlier, as I have done earlier, I'm just converting the colored frames into the gray. Okay, here the point is BGR to gray and not RGB to gray. Okay, it is BGR to gray. Next, I am passing frame to our classifiers. So you can see cars equal to car underscore classifier detect multi-scale gray 1.42. Here I already done trial and error basis. I already like put random values here, and these are the perfect values which I got for detecting the cars perfectly. Okay. Now extracting the bounding boxes for any bodies identified. So here I am just looping it, and here I'm just drawing the rectangle. Okay, for the cars. The same procedure. The frame will be there, the XY will be there, then the X plus W, Y plus H, the ending points will be there, then the color is there, and next is the thickness of the rectangle is there. So here you can see the cv2.im show, and here I am providing the car's name. Okay, for the video I am providing the car's name. So the title of the video will be the cars, and I'm providing the frames which are going to get captured when I will start the video, when I will load the video. Okay, then next, cap.release. Okay, here I'm releasing all the functions, all the objects that I created for the cap object. Okay, so I'm going to release all those objects, and here finally I'm going to close all the open windows. So let's execute this car detection. Then we will go for pedestrian. I forgot above code. Okay, no problem. We will first see car detection. Then we will go to pedestrian detection. Okay. So I will run this code and let's see what happens. Okay. You can see the window is get opened here, and yeah, the cars are getting detected properly. You can see. Okay. And yeah, if I like combine my code for pedestrian detection with this, so at that time it can detect this man also. Okay, so it will detect car and man at the same time if I combine both the code, as I combined for face and eyes in the similar manner. Okay, so you can see the accuracy is much better. It is detecting each and every car. Okay, okay, so that's it. But yeah, now for closing the program, I want to press Q key. Okay, yeah. So the program gets closed. Now we will look for the pedestrian detection. So the code is the same as of the car detection. I'll just load the full body for in the body classifier and the walking video of people, and it will store in the cap. So the same procedure the cap जब तक open रहेगा, video successfully loaded रहेगा, and it will capture the frames. It will detect the features from that. It will construct rectangles, and finally, it will show. It will show the video in the form of frames. Okay, and finally, I will break the program by pressing the Q key here. Okay. This is for releasing all the objects that I created in this program, and finally for closing all the open windows I will be using cv2.destroy all windows. Okay, so let's see by running this code. Yeah, you can see here is the video, okay, of people are walking, and the person is detected very properly. Okay, that you can see the accuracy. Okay, OpenCV is detecting like magnificently. Okay, yeah, you can see each person is getting detected properly, and the code is very simple. We have to just import XML files, and we have to just we have to just use some simple functions like drawing rectangle, detecting multi-scale, then cascade classifier is better function to use. Okay, so yeah, this is about the detection. So today in today's, okay, I have to press Q key for closing that window. Okay, so it got closed. So in today's session, you got to learn about reading an image, then displaying an image, then you got to learn about the detection from videos, from images, as well as from webcam also. Okay, so I'll be providing the drive link containing all the materials recording now. So like you can go there and you can practice it out for many images, and you can try these values. Okay, you can just try these values. You can just trial error these values, and you can see how these values are affecting your model or your particular video or image. Okay, so that's it for today's session. And do you guys understand all the points which I covered in today's session? Hmm. What if not use cap.release? What are those black in video detection? Black? कहाँ पे था black? In video detection. Video detection. I didn't find any black. What are you saying? Like output. If we don't use cap.release, तो उससे ना मेमोरी पे मतलब प्रेशर बढ़ेगा, और जब हम वीडियो चालू करेंगे ना, तो वीडियो विल गेट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. ओके, क्लोज करने में भी वीडियो को ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा. तो इट इज बेटर टू क्लोज ऑल द विंडोज एंड also to release all the objects, okay, after writing the entire code. It is good practice. Okay. Which cascade classifier has most accuracy? So OpenCV provides only one cascade, like I know just only one cascade classifier, that is HAR cascade classifier, and that provides a great accuracy. Okay, that is the best classifier which OpenCV provided. And what if you want to detect bottle snacks? Do you have you have XML files for all those things. You can just search it out on Google, like XML files for spoon, XML file for this object, XML file for this object, and you can find the GitHub link. Just download it from there and try it out, practice it. That first one, output file. I didn't get you. What was the block box? I'll run it again. Let's see, what are you saying? It is not detecting any black box or what? It is running perfectly. First one, black box. This pedestrian wala na? I can't find any black box. You're saying about this? No, these are the windows in the video itself. These are the windows of some building.
He's saying about the cars video.
Okay, cars video. Okay. Okay, no, it is the video itself. Okay, ये कार वाला जो वीडियो है ना, वो कैमरा से शूट किया गया है. सो यहाँ पे ना कैमरा की टाइमिंग्स है. ये जो ब्लैक है ना, वो कैमरा की टाइमिंग है. आई फाउंड दिस वीडियो. ओके, तो ये वीडियो का ही पार्ट है, ये हमारी डिटेक्शन का कुछ पार्ट नहीं है. ओके, वो कैमरा का टाइम दिखा रहा है कि किस टाइम पे ये वीडियो शूट किया गया, वैसा सब कुछ. ओके, या थैंक यू. ओके, एनी अदर डाउट्स गाइज? Some students are not answering. Like, do you understand, guys? सबको समझ में आया ना? कुछ भी डाउट हो, कुछ सिंपल सा हो, कुछ फनी सा हो, कुछ भी हो, प्लीज भेज दो. Okay, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Yeah. Okay, you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the reply. Okay. So I'm so glad you guys understand the topics and about OpenCV library. I hope now you are cleared with OpenCV library and its useful fundamental functions. Now, guys, yeah, please fill the feedback attendance form. Your feedback is really valuable to us. It will help us to conduct further sessions accordingly. Okay, so please, guys, fill the feedback form so that like we can conduct more exciting and interesting sessions for you. Okay, so now I'm sending the drive link. I'll be uploading there all the materials, including recording very soon. So the now for now the drive link is empty, but I will be uploading it very soon. Okay, so you can go through those materials and links, and you can try it out on many other videos and images. Okay, so and if you have missed any part or you joined late, don't worry, you can watch the recording. Okay, so I'll just send you the drive link. Just a minute.
So guys, we have planned such sessions on for you all on every Sunday, and we will get the updates about it through the mail ID, official mail, and various WhatsApp groups. And thank you for such an amazing session, Akshata.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Guys, this is the drive link. You can go there. I'll be uploading the materials very soon after the session. Okay. And stay tuned for further sessions of ML4 and VIIT. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for attending the session. And especially thank you so much for attending the session till the end. That means a lot. Okay. I'll check if Verma ma'am is there. Okay, Verma is not there. Okay, no problem. Okay, so thank you guys. Happy learning.